Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So this is going to be the first part of my course on the Vegish language. So Vegish is a man-made West Germanic language made by me, based off of the three main West Germanic languages: German, Dutch, and English. Um, so So obviously it's very alike to English because one of the languages it's based off of is English, and the other two are tongues that are very alike to English. So not going to be too hard for an English speaker to learn, at least compared to other languages. All right. Anyways, I'll head right into it. So this letter A is pronounced as A, like in apel. B, B, like in brechen. C, Ch, like in Francia. D, D, like in drinken. E, like in eld. F, like in folk. This letter that looks like an A and an E squished together. A, like in Macken. G, G, like in Gret. H, like in Hand. I, like in will. J, Ya, so same sound as the English Y, like in Yar. K, like in, is K, like in Kald. Okay. L, like in Licht. Keep in mind, L's in Vegish are always light. So in English, you have light L and dark L. So dark L is L where it bunches up at the throat. Like say, live is more light because it doesn't really bunch up at the throat that much. At least not in most accents. But fall is pretty dark because it bunches up. It sort of bunches up the throat. Vegish L's cannot bunch up at the throat. Vegish L's always have to be fully light, so it's always like fallen, meaning to fall, or will. Vegish L's or Licht, which Licht. So Vegish L's always have to be light. There cannot be any throat bunching. They have to be pronounced flat. Always in all situations. Vegish L's have to be pronounced that way. Okay. Like in mother. This letter, A with two dots above it, is A, like in hape. N, like in ne. O, not O, not A. O, like in ofst. P, like in pluch. R is sort of a alveolar tap/trill sound, so the same as in Spanish or Italian or Russian or something like that. Like in ran, meaning rain. S, stan. I don't think I'm actually saying the meaning of the words here. In most cases, I just put the meaning up on screen, so I'm not sure why I think I said the meaning with Ron, which I don't know why. I don't know, because I'm not doing this with all these other words, so it just was an instinctive thing there, but whatever, that doesn't matter. The meanings of the words are up here on screen anyway, so it doesn't matter if I actually say them out loud or not. Okay, can the wind shut the... Okay, wind, just wait till I finish the video, okay? Okay. Okay, T, like in better. U, like in urd. V, like in Vegish, so of course the name of the language in the actual language. This letter, the one with a D through a slash through it, is the unvoiced TH sound. So TH in English has two sounds that can make it. Say you can have or not unvoiced, it's the voiced TH sound. This letter is the voiced TH sound, not the unvoiced, sorry. But anyway, yeah, so there are two sounds. You have the unvoiced and you have the voiced in English for TH. So the unvoiced is the sound that sounds harsher, so like in think or thought. The voiced sound is the sound that sounds sort of more electric, the one that sounds more vibrating and less harsh, like in there or that. Think, thought. Unvoiced, there, that. Voiced. So this letter right here, and because those two sounds are shown with two different letters in Vegish, this letter right here, the one with a D with a slash through it, is the voiced version. So the same sound as in English, there or that. So, like in say then or than in Vegish, for example, which mean the same things as the English words then and than, respectively. Okay. W, wa, like in werken. Y. Yeah, like in, or sorry, no, Y is not yeah. Okay, no, one sec. I had a brain fart there. Okay, no, sorry. Y is an E actually. So like in English, leave or heave. So, some Vegish words would be say, Y-E, like in say leaf, um, meaning love. Um, for example. All right, but yeah, Y makes an E sound like in say leaf again, meaning love. Okay. Z is za, like in bleokzam. Bleokzam. It can be a bit of a tongue twister, but yeah. Okay, this letter U with two dots above it is U. So that's a vowel sound that doesn't exist in English. So I'll go ahead and explain how to pronounce it. So to pronounce U, imagine that you're pronouncing a sort of like Californian surfer fronted version of the oo vowel. So like say goose or dude or something like that. So imagine that sort of like a California surfer fronted oo sound. Now just take that ew, move it slightly farther front in the mouth, slightly farther forwards in the mouth, ew, and then pronounce it flat. So pronounce it just flatly rather than gliding in the mouth as you're pronouncing it. Ew, you want to pronounce it just flat and a little farther. So you want to pronounce it a little farther forward than the normal ew and flat. So ew, 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 ew. So that should be a fair guide on how to get that sound right. So like that's like an example word of that would be new. Okay. So the last letter before we get into letter combinations is this. So this is the letter for the unvoiced th, like in English, think or thought. So an example word is eth, meaning oath. Okay. Now into letter combinations. EI makes an I sound like in wagon. GH makes a or that was a bit too harsh. No, it makes a sound. So a harsh aspiration, often rather throaty. So like in say nicht, meaning night, and of course a lot of other words like sicht, sight, the aforesaid licht, meaning light, that sort of idea. Okay. OU makes an O sound like in Bowen, meaning to farm, although it also means to build. AU is ow, like in bowed. EU is ow, like in snow. EE is like in sheafen. SCH is sh, like in shaun. EU is oi, like in woipen. And lastly, UJ is ui, like in Uisland. Okay, so I'll explain two last little notes on pronunciation and I'll wrap up the video. So first of all, two E's is the only case where putting two letters together is going to actually make another sound. So the letter E by itself is eh, but two E's is e, sheaf, and you do have to hold the sound for longer. E, not E, but E. You have to actually hold the sound for longer. That's the only time where the sound itself will change, though, rather than just holding it for longer. In all other cases, if you have two letters together, in all other cases, if you have two of the same letter together, two letters together is often just a combination. In any other case where you have two of the same letter together, it'll just lengthen the sound. So say two O's is just O, or like in say and or two A's is just ah. And there are some cases where different words are actually distinguished by this. So like say man means man, but man means moan, or manen being the verb form, which I'll talk about verbs and such like that in part 2, which will be about the grammar of Vegish and how it's different from English. And or like say son meaning son, but son meaning son in the sense of a male child, rather than son, which is sun in the sense of, sun in the sky. And In cases where the only two things distinguishing words is the length of one of their sounds, you basically can't pronounce the one that's pronounced short or long. So you can't say son to mean the sun in the sky, because that's just going to sound like son in the sense of a male child. So in cases where the only two things differentiating a word are the length of a sound, you can't pronounce that specific sound. That's the only thing differentiating the two long, because it's going to sort of quote unquote be the other word, or at the very least, it's going to cause excessive confusion. So, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you probably shouldn't, because it's going to cause unnecessary confusion. Okay, and lastly, with um, before a throat sound always has to become which is why say maken in Dutch, meaning to make, had to become maken in Vegish, because it came before a throat sound. So the throat, and so before a throat sound always has to become So like say for example, like say so throat sounds, here are the things that are throat sounds. Ga, ka, cha, although cha isn't always pronounced with the throat, but it counts as a throat sound in this case. Ng and unk, so ng and nk. And ng and unk always have to be pronounced with the throat. You can't say unk. You can't say like say with the word say if ink was a word in Vegas, you couldn't say ink. You would always have to say ink. You always have to pronounce ng and unk with 100% with the throat. You can't shift from n at the front of the mouth back to the that's not allowed. All right. Anyway, nothing else to say. So that's going to be it for the pronunciation video. Goodbye.